Hi everybody, you're very welcome back to Law Hero. My name is Jen and I'm a fit about the law, and today we're going to talk about tort law and its relevance in 2023 as against the Fe1 exam. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the syllabus set by Mr. Raymond Friel, and yeah, we're going to just dive right into it. So candidates are required to have a sound knowledge and understanding of the principles of tort. They're expected to have a comprehensive and detailed knowledge of the law relating to the following. So the nature and function of the law of tort, that will probably only really be asked as part of an essay. He'll usually ask like a kind of a lofty essay for you to discuss in the abstract, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. Causation, very, very important. Factual and legal, remoteness of damage, novus actus, and recklessness, they are all always asked in every single Fe1. Concurrent wrongdoers, joint and several tortfeasors, that's asked in the I answer that in the defense part of my book, but yes, it is often asked. Negligence in all of its glory, so duty and standard of care, proof of negligence, affirmative duties, physical and economic loss, nervous shock, professional negligence, negligence on the roads, and negligent care of children, always asked. Product liability I've started to include back into my ebooks because there's more of a tendency to ask it. Occupier's liability has been amended this year and I've made the necessary amendments in my ebook, so he may ask it this year. Employer's liability or vicarious liability is often asked. Public authorities I don't really do, but it is asked the odd time, but I don't do it. Liability of vendors, letters, builders, public authorities for quality and fitness of purpose, I don't do that one. Liability of the state, I don't do that one. Vicarious liability, I do kind of like employer's liability when it comes to like health and safety, and I kind of do it all in the one chapter. Trespass to the person, trespass to land is always asked. Statutory duties and rights, kind of peppered through, but not really one topic. Defamation is one topic. Nuisance is one topic. The rule in violence and pleasures is one topic. Liability for injuries caused by animals, I don't do anymore. Liability for fire, I don't do anymore. Passing off is a chapter in itself. Fatal injuries and survival of actions on death, I kind of do, not on its own though. Damages has its own chapter. Defences has its own chapter. Limitations of actions is done in the defences chapter. And then what else? Let's move on to what was asked in March 2023. So the first question is around Vulture Wings, which is an airline, on the potential liability to Jennifer, who is a passenger. And basically she sees somebody who is doing maintenance. He hasn't been rigged out with the right safety gear. So you think of kind of like employer health and safety, vicarious liability. The second question was an essay question, and it looks at limitation periods within which an action must be taken have now been amended that, far from providing for certainty in litigation, limitation periods have now become a source of increased uncertainty. This is because of the problem of when did the action, or when did the right accrue, when did the action happen, when did the damage happen, and especially when it comes to like construction law cases where you have like latent and patent damage, and when they're looking at, for example, like subsidence of houses, when did that start? It's very difficult to pinpoint that, and you have to prove it. So and also when it comes to like negligence in medical care, it's also very difficult to prove when the cause of action arose a lot of the time. So that's what they're getting at here. Question 3 is a problem question, and it's like one that was asked a few years ago about a tank being brought onto land. And of course, if you bring something onto land and it causes runoff, you're responsible for that. So question 4 was an essay question around the defence of consent or waiver under 34(1)(b) of the Civil Liability Act. Again, the defences chapter will be good there. Question 5 is a problem question. It is kind of like dressed up as like an influencer doing ads, but it actually really is manufacturer product liability and who's liable in the supply chain. Question 6 is an essay question around res ipsa locator and whether it should be abolished or not. Question 7 was a problem question. It's a kind of skirmish between two people. There's a little bit of false imprisonment. There's some threats. So anyway, it's all torts against people here. And then question 8 is a causation and negligence problem question. This kind of question is often asked as question 1. We've had this question asked before in a quite similar fashion. So again, like the factual and legal causation will have to be broken down here, duty of care and all of that. But he didn't really ask anything weird, I would say. I mean, the doctrine of res ipsa, that essay, that would have been probably difficult if you didn't really understand it, to argue whether it should be abolished or not. And also the limitations period and the defense of consent or waiver, they're all very niche, I would say, as essays. So you probably would have been better off sticking to the problem questions, like the Rylands and Fletcher kind of stuff, because they were much more straightforward than the essay questions if you hadn't the work done. But yeah, all in all, a fine tort paper. Tort is one of my favourite anyway. But yeah, I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. So like from all the 8 Fe1 March 2023 papers that I've just had a look at, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. I would say it was a nice sitting. And best of luck to all of you who are sitting the October 2023, and I look forward to hearing your feedback for the next round of questions. See you then.